Hey, Gally here. So this is an idea that I wanted to time since like yesterday or the day before. Basically, the whole concept is that in overworld routing, it basically at the moment is sort of a remnant of old routes. So at the moment, what you do is you solve Stone Ship and Selenitic at the same time, and then you return and you start Selenitic. And the reason that I did this for a long time was because Selenitic was very difficult. So I always wanted to do Selenitic first. And I thought it was arbitrary to do the ages in order and to basically solve what you can on the way there. But I realized over time I was actually trying to come up with a more dramatic route where you start with like mechanical and then you move on to Stone Ship, which are relatively easy, and then you move on to Channelwood, and then finally you end it with Selenitic, and so on and so forth. Because I thought it was arbitrary. I thought it didn't matter which of the four ages you did. I realize now that it actually does matter which age you do first. It's no longer the case where you basically do a route where you solve all of Myst Island and make a particular save here to Sage Glitch into Channelwood, or even worse, just solve all of Myst Island at once and then do all the four ages. There's a lot of optimization that needs to go on. So I have an idea that I'm going to time, and that's why I'm introducing this. So my current idea is to instead, from the beginning, start. You go over here, and then we're going to start with Channelwood. So basically, you solve the left half of Stone Ship, if I can click it, and then you go to Channelwood, and you do the first bit of Channelwood, you solve the Clockwork Bridge, and so on and so forth. So then on your second return, you do another version, you do Channelwood once again, but you solve the right half of Stone Ship, you solve the power, and then you finish off mechanical. That means that you solve the entirety of everything within doing Channelwood. And the reason I think this makes more sense is because we have to travel this way anyway. Instead of doing what current route is, where you travel out of your way to unlock something and then you return back, why don't we use the travel time that we have to make the Channelwood to make it? So this affects three particular things, and so I'm going to sort of walk you through it. So the first one is the intro. The intro I'm going to time from here to first age entrance where it makes sense. So for example, because Channelwood's on a timer and you're waiting for the tree, I'm going to time it from the wheel. And because both routes do the same thing while waiting for the tree, it's basically from here to the wheel, right? In the old route, it would be from there to reaching Selenitic, because I don't want to have to include flipping switches and a bunch of unnecessary stuff. On the second go around, there's two different sort of routes. So they both start from here once again. For the old route, it's going to do the first bit of Channelwood, which is to travel here and to start up the first bit. And then the third part of that route is to go here and then turn down the tree to do the second part of Channelwood. In the newer route, what that looks like is instead you start from here, you do this half of Stone Ship, you do the power, and then you go into there and you time ends on the wheel. And then the final route is literally turning here and going here, because now the first bit of Selenitic would look like this. So I hope you enjoy. I hope that makes sense, and I'll explain anything if there's any more explaining to be done. So, as you may have noticed, I did definitely make mistakes on the left-hand side that I didn't make on the right-hand side with the new route versus old route. So I'm probably just going to knock the decimal off and call it 13 seconds. Now, I'm expecting this because I'm doing a lot more in the intro for Selenitic, but it may be that in the next two, it's not going to be able to decently catch up. So we'll see. This is far less than I was expecting, considering we had to do the power and the stone chip to boot. However, I feel like I did rob the other side a little bit by having the advantage of knowing where to click on that right side. So I think I'm going to bump this up to like a 4.5, right? So again, I'm giving as much of a disadvantage to the new route as possible to make it fair, but still 13 minus 4.5 is like 8.5. So it just comes down to the last to see whether or not old route is faster by 8.5, and I really doubt it. And that's it. Apparently that's actually an advantage for the new route, so that gives it 9.5 seconds. I'm going to call it 9 because reasons. It just makes it easier. And so therefore, All Pages now has a free 9-second time save just in a matter of rearranging the overworld around. So that's a pretty big win.